There. All right, now we're recording. And welcome back, everybody. Realize I suck at doing intros, but the Stone Student Support Podcast, we are back with review of The Descent 2. Um, Zach, how did you feel about it in general, like compared to the first one? Before we get into like the play-by-play and shit.
Um, I feel like I feel like this is kind of one of those sequels that they would make in the 2000s where it was kind of like, wait, what? Like why? Like why are they coming out with a sequel to this movie? Um,
Yeah,
I feel like I feel like Yeah, I feel like this is a movie that, like, frankly, wouldn't really get a sequel at this point in time. Not like, this many years later, but like if The Descent were to come out now, I don't necessarily. I feel like maybe this
yeah,
just is a sign of me like not noticing as much, but I feel like there aren't that many like low budget sequels that like come out nowadays. What do you think? I don't know if I'm just making that up.
Mm, I mean, I wouldn't say that's not true. Uh, I can't think of any low budget ones that came out really that didn't get sequels just because they were bad. But like The Descent, the way the first one ended, you kind of know they're going to make a sequel, or that uh, it's one of those things where they don't know how to end it. So it's like one of those, did they make it? Did they really not? Sort of ordeals. Um, I just didn't think it needed a sequel, really. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, outside of, well, no, not even that. I was going to say outside of not knowing if Juno made it out or not. But like, I mean, without a sequel, at some point, Juno's going to die. I mean, she's stuck in there with one leg because there's a pickaxe through her knee. She's not going to survive like very long in there. So I didn't think it needed a sequel. I mean, I thought it was okay the way it ended. Actually, I wasn't okay with how it ended because I knew they were going to try to make a sequel, uh, or do something because it ends with Sarah, the is the main character, I believe. It ends with Sarah, like she gets in the
Yeah.
truck, she's like throwing up out of the window, and she sits back up, and there's like a ghost like figure sitting right there, which I thought they were going to do a whole thing where she was dreaming the whole time because they didn't see that. That's not what they saw in the mines. They saw the creature. They didn't. She saw like a ghost in like a dress and shit. So I thought they were going to be like she was dreaming the whole time because of the signs of being trapped down there with like hallucinations and whatnot. So I thought they were going to do something stupid like that, maybe where she was, well, a huge portion of it, she was actually asleep or something. Like I feel like it could have just ended with her escaping. Like kind of how Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre ended. Uh it was like kind of a happy ending because she escaped, but like you're so fucked up after something like that, and she was just like covered in blood and everything the same kind of way. I felt like it could have just ended just with her escaping, and that would have been fine. I just didn't think it needed the sequel necessarily. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
we didn't talk about it because I didn't want to spoil anything for the sequel. But um, I think one of the alternate endings for the first movie was that it was like a portion of it was a dream, and that she would like wake up kind of trapped in the cave still. Which I still think that's a terrible ending too, because again, we just don't need a sequel with something like this. Everybody's already dead or whatever. I just don't know how it would come back. But I did like um certain things about the sequel though. But I'll save some of that for later. So let's get into the play-by-play more or less, if I can read my handwriting. So it starts off with just like a random truck driver who almost hits a deer messing with his stereo, and then we see Sarah's hands like on the window, and he gets her to a hospital clearly. Which, but that part I thought was weird because Sarah was already in a truck when the first movie ended. So like I didn't understand anyway.
Yeah.
You see where like we didn't need a
They
sequel because
kind
they're
of forgot
having
the
a kind of
continuity. They forgot where they picked up at.
yeah, yeah. She was literally in a truck. Um, so we kind of cut from that, from her being found or whatever and rescued to like the news. The We cut back to a news reporter who is talking about another mining tragedy that happened, I guess, a year ago. Um, and she's kind of questioning the search and rescue team who's looking for the girls from the first movie. She's kind of questioning them about, they never really say what happened with the incident that happened a year ago, but she's kind of like being a dick and just like really pressing the search and rescue team about just asking them all kinds of questions. And then she asked them if they think they responded fast enough this time, which was kind of a wild thing to ask somebody. And then I mean, that question actually gets one of the guys to almost like kind of punch her. And they like break that whole little scuffle up or whatever, and they all go back. And then the sheriff gets a phone call from the hospital that the trucker has found Sarah and she's back at the hospital. And what did I write right here? Yeah, so we cut back to the hospital with Sheriff Baines and Deputy Rios. Where they're like kind of I don't know how if you caught on to this, but the sheriff is just angry for no reason the whole movie. Like they get there and Sarah's sedated and he's going off on the doctor about her being about like why would you sedate her? And they're like, well, she was hysterical, so we had to. Then they kind of talk about, and feel free to jump in whenever. So I kind of will just ramble this
Yeah.
whole like play by play. Um, but yeah, he indicates that like she had to put up a fight at some point because there's um like chunks of somebody ripped out under her fingernails, and that the blood on her clothes
Hmm.
isn't hers, that she actually isn't
You
all that
know.
hurt. So they tell the doctor to go test the blood and get a blood type, which I thought was kind of common sense. Like that should already have been happening, but they have to tell the doctor to go do that.
Yeah.
And as soon as the doctor leaves, like as soon as the doctor leaves, they go into where Sarah is sedated and wake her up and try to like force an interrogation out of her. Um, and they just get annoyed because she doesn't really remember too much. She doesn't even remember that her daughter died. So like that's just like a whole emotional thing. She gets all weird and crying and stuff, and they just kind of get mad and leave. And then where did I leave off? Yeah, so the scene cuts then from the hospital to this random trucker, and I have comments about this random dude that's just following them forever. But the trucker he's with another deputy and the tracker dog, because whenever they find Sarah on the road and they call the sheriff, that kind of lets them know that they've been looking in the wrong area because of where they found her at. So
Hmm.
they get they get another deputy out there with the dog to to kind of track down anything out there. And they come to an old mine. And the dog kind of goes underneath like the it looks like it's going underneath the porch of a house, sort of like the entrance of the mine, and it comes out scared and like whimpering. In that, and I just want to talk about that for a second. Because
Mm.
One, it was a jump scare that I kind of saw coming, but I just didn't know what it was going to be. But it was just a dog jumped back out, like clearly
Yeah.
terrified, and he calls the sheriff and says, "Hey, we found one of the girls." That's not what that means. That means something under the house scared the dog. That was just kind of weird that their reaction wasn't to be afraid, but it was like, oh yeah, one of the dead girls must be under there. That must be what scared the fuck out of the dog just right now. So I just
It's a
thought,
wild
thought that
jump to
was
make,
stupid.
yeah.
Yeah, I just thought
Yeah.
that was fucking anyway. Like that's kind of one of those plot hole things where they needed a reason for them to all get to the mine. Um,
Yeah, I was gonna say just the entire idea of this movie happening again, it makes me think of like so Jurassic Park. I've watched some stuff about them choosing to make the sequel and like
yeah,
how essentially like you can't just go right back to Jurassic Park. Like you have to like do something slightly different because it's like why in the fuck would these people put themselves and find themselves in the exact same situation so soon. And
exactly,
like that's like
exactly.
I think of that like with this movie. It's like how in the fuck did y'all manage to find yourselves in essentially the exact same situation with like not a substantial amount of like backup or help or like awareness of like what you're doing. Like you have like a small
Exactly.
team again. And it's like what?
Yeah,
Like
that's one of those things. So yeah, that's this is one of those sequels where and I feel like it might be the same thing now, but um I feel like really back in the 2000s this was a thing where like the sequel to the movie, especially the direct second movie, is just the first movie again with a
just
different
continued.
cast. Like, and the
Yeah.
only the only series that worked with was Final Destination.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the
Yeah.
only one that really, really worked, where like it's literally the same movie over and over again. I mean, it could be said for like
I got another in mind.
Halloween and Nightmare
Yeah.
on Elm Street, that is the
I feel
same.
like
But I mean, Final
Creepers
Destination is
2
the
is better.
same. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
But that's
yes.
not even really the same movie though. That like goes off in a different
No.
direction.
It's
So
it's completely different. But like as far as ones
yeah.
that are just this is just the same thing, or it's like we have a bigger budget for blood and practical effects now. So
Yeah.
let's remake that first movie. That's what this felt like too. Um,
Okay, yeah.
which is why I almost didn't do a play-by-play because there was nothing like special about it. But so yeah, so that's the plot hole reason for them to kind of even go back to the cave. And then this old man, so like I don't understand why he was so vital. Like if I feel like if this was real life, okay, where did she run out of the woods? Right here. Okay, go on about your day. Like we got it from here. It was kind of weird that they had him like following him like with a tracker dog and like showing them the mine and getting there. And speaking of like what you just said about finding themselves in the exact same situation, Sarah, man, is going right back
Yeah,
against
for
her will.
real. Also,
She just
I
made
think
it.
Juno should be I think Juno should be dead. Like there's
Oh
no
yeah,
way. There's no
yeah,
way.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's no way that
Which
she's still
spoiler
alive.
alert, when you click on when I was on Tubi and I clicked on the Descent 2, you see her on she's like on the poster for the thing, and I was like, no, there's no fucking way.
Like, listen, we killed too many of the cast last time around. We need someone else for the sequel. We only have one character
Yeah,
in the
no,
sequel.
I see her on like the main cover like poster for the Descent
Yeah.
2, and I was like, all right. So I knew it was going to be sort of just a remake of the uh of the
Yeah.
first movie. And like I said, I only saw these both once, like over
Hmm.
10 years ago.
Right.
And this one I remember even less of. But yeah, we
Yeah.
just talked about Sarah being in there, the old man who's just like stuck with them. Um, I liked the search and rescue team. I liked them more than
Oh,
the
the other
characters in the
Cavers.
first movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
Dan, Kath, and Greg. I like them.
yeah,
I feel like they. I don't want to say they gave them more to do, but they gave them a bit more personality. Um,
yeah. I remember
they had a lot of
commenting
common
on the
sense
first
too.
one. Yeah, I remember commenting on the first one that like it felt like the characters like none of them really stood out, and like how the downside of like the Marvelization movies is that they're all like too jokey now. But also
Yeah,
like I
yeah,
remember saying that this one could use some more like actual, or the first one I should say. So like yeah, it's a I don't know. I
yeah,
don't. I mean,
yeah.
you could also look at the year that this came out. This came out end of 2009. So I wonder if like you
That is
know,
true.
Iron Man being out a year and a half before that, if that already had an impact or if they'd already wrote the script and all this for the movie. But like, I don't know. It's like it's
That's a
just like
good
a
point.
time
'Cause
shift in like early 2000s to late 2000s.
yeah, because I think that's what pulled me um into not being that scared when I first started watching things was like everything is just so I mean I'm kind of tired of it now. Um but everything was like so forced funny. Like you can just tell like I was like even though this movie's going to be gory and like gross and disturbing at some point, it's going to be more than likely them trying to make you laugh the whole time. Like towards the end of
Yeah.
Insidious with the ghost hunting team towards the end of the Insidious franchise with the ghost hunting team, the guys like it was just like humor, um, and like a little bit of scary shit. But yeah, I mean that is to be
Yeah.
said. They do try to make they try to make the characters more like I guess like you say like Marvel movies more like family oriented or whatever. And it just gets kind of weird sometimes. But this one they didn't go overboard with it. There was no like corny like the citrus joke from the first one. Like the
Yeah.
most you see
Yeah.
is like Kath flirting around with Dan or Greg, one of them. But like even that is like it's quick, it's not lingered on, and it's not like super corny or anything like crazy. But yeah, I actually liked them um a lot, and they kind of tricked me out because I thought they were gonna survive a little bit longer from that. But anyway, they're at the mine with the old man who goes into uh this whole long speech about how his great grandfather used to work in the mines back in the day, and how him and two of his other coworkers they found this new cave system that hadn't been discovered, and they were sent to go back into there because their boss thought there may be riches of some sort, but they never came back and how the townspeople figured they must have dug their way down into hell. And it's almost like it's this urban legend, even though nobody knows about it or nobody
Yeah.
knows why these girls are missing too. So that was kind of weird. Like they tried to force this little narrative that didn't really stick or make any sense. And then again, I was just wondering, why the fuck are you still there? Um, except to
Yeah.
be a reason to kind of give us that fake urban legend story and to know how to work all the gear in the mines to help them get down in there. Which before they get lowered in there, multiple people tell the sheriff, "Hey, Sarah just came back. She doesn't even really have her memory. Like, I just really don't think we should take her right back into a fucking cave right away."
Let's take her to see a doctor.
Like
Yeah.
two people tell the sheriff, like just down to his deputies, he was just like, I really, I think this might be
This is a
stupid.
bad
Like
idea.
maybe we should, yeah. But he doesn't care. He's like, no, it's going to jog her memory, and we need her because, oh, I forgot, I didn't mention this earlier, but Juno is the senator's daughter of wherever the hell they are. Juno is a senator. or the senator's granddaughter, something. Which is why they're even out searching for the missing girls in the first
Okay.
place because
Yeah.
they haven't come back, and clearly people know that she was going to like the cave exploration deal, whatever the hell you call it. Um, so
The
that's
Lemon King.
why the search and rescue team is even out there to kind of clear that up. I didn't really say that earlier. So the
Mm.
sheriff is all just like super gung ho to bring her back at all costs because he's a sheriff and that's the senator's daughter or whatever.
Right.
Um, Even when they get lowered into the cave, uh, like Sarah's kind of freaking out, panicking a bit, and Dan, the leader of the search and rescue team, tells everybody to stop, gives her some water, and that just pisses off the sheriff, who's just, like I said, the dude's just angry the whole movie for no reason. He's annoyed that he's stopping to take care of her, and he's like, "We need to hurry up and get to this damn cave." And Dan kind of steps to him a little bit, and I kind of thought they were gonna fight, but he just let him know that like down here, like you need to listen to me because I know what the fuck's going on. After all that happens, they continue along the cave. Uh, well, they continue trying to find their way through this cave because it's unexplored, as you know from the first movie. One of the first things they see is not like a human skull or just like a tiny skull, like a humongous skull down there. And someone mentions out that it is a pit pony, which I looked up, and I guess they did used to use ponies to haul small things
Mm.
in mines or whatever. Um, so like in that, so they see that um a skeleton of that and a boarded up sign that says "Danger, keep out," which they kind of laugh at, and they're like, "That's never a good." One of them even said, "That's never a good sign," and they laugh and they break the sign and crawl through there where it says "Danger" inside. Um, and where are we? Pretty much, they're just wandering along this cave,
I,
lost, trying to find their way through. What happened?
I was gonna say a thought that came up when you were talking about how the dude is so angry. I also feel like, and I don't have enough evidence to draw on to like make this claim really strong, but I also feel like that's like a 2000s character thing. That like there'd be the old
Yeah,
guy that was just really mad. And like I
yeah,
don't even know if that like I can't think of enough examples to really like back that up. But like I
I
feel like
got
there
you.
used to be more of like an angry old man archetype. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I can't think of any old man ones, but that's uh, there's. I feel like part of the early 2000s formula was a bully of some sort
Okay.
at all times.
That's a
So
good, yeah, that's
like
a good way of putting it. Yeah.
yeah, like even that's one of my favorite things about the Final Destination franchise is that they're the bullies in the
Oh
movies.
yeah. There's
There's
always,
no reason
yeah.
for like there's like we know there's bullies and a bully isn't even always like full on Peter Parker and like throwing people in trash cans type of shit, but it's just like it can just be someone that just irritates you every day. But like the bullies in Final
Yeah, there's someone that's
Destination
an
are just
asshole.
so over the top. And there's literally no reason, like it's completely unprovoked to the point that it's honestly hilarious. Like I get such a laugh at the bullies in the Final Destination series. But yeah, that is a good point. I can't think of any old man ones, but I feel like that is part of the formula.
Just in
Is someone
general.
that's just
Yeah.
someone that's just mad for no like no reason at all. He's just fucking just set
Yeah.
off by every little thing. Um,
I also
what
feel
is
like that
it?
that even goes back to like that's like a classic Americana archetype where like you definitely in the 80s like with like nerd movies and like jock movies like the over the top bullies
Mhm.
like that's probably the most easy decade to point to. But even in, like
Yeah,
Animal
Back to the
House,
Future.
yeah,
Yeah,
Back to the Future. But
yeah,
like even Animal House, which is like set in the 60s and like came out, I want to say like earlier mid 70s, like
yeah.
it's just been, I don't know. I guess what I'm thinking of is that it seems like America has been super aware of the fact that there's some really douchey people
Yeah,
that you can run
yeah.
into living here.
Because it's always relatable, even the over the top shit. It's like we all know somebody that's like we've all seen shit just escalate to the point that
Yeah,
it's comical because
fine.
it's like, no, that's actually we know people like that are just fucking like it may make no sense for this movie, but and it may still be over the top, but we all know someone who is just like
That fits.
just does the most at any point in time. It's just like, are you throwing a fucking tantrum? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Same thing with Jeepers Creepers too. Good bullies in that one too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
oh
I'd be
yeah,
down
yeah.
to watch
So
that one sometime. That's
yeah,
that's that's one of my favorites.
let's actually do
That one's
that
up
next.
there.
I'm liking doing I'm liking doing the franchises or whatever. We can do
Yeah.
let's do one and two of those next. I'm down for that.
Do a what?
But we could do part one and two of those next if you
Mm,
want to. Those are actually both
yeah.
like
I'd
mid
say
two
watch them
thousands
watch
as
them
well.
both. Yeah, watch them both and then just do one talking about both.
Yeah, yeah, I'm down for that. Um, so after the danger sign that they all ignore and go down, they hit a corner and they see now I don't remember who any of these girls are because at the end of the last movie they died in such quick succession that I really don't remember who
Yeah, no,
except I
they're
know that
still yeah.
so yeah, so when they're finding these like mutilated bodies, I don't remember who was who, to be honest. I just know it's like five girls. Um, but they find a body who has like his ribs exposed, like his whole middle torso is just completely exposed. And still they don't turn around like there's the entrance is still right there. They haven't been in here that long. They could still get out, let someone know they just saw that and like come back with some real help. But um they don't. They continue to stay and go. I would have been
They
out.
don't.
Personally, I would have been gone because that's just
Dude,
like
personally I
too
never would have gotten in this fucking
specific.
situation.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that too.
Like I'm good. I'm
But
good on like
like,
being a caver, man. Like I'll do some crazy shit. Like I'll skydive, I'll
no,
scuba dive. I think caves are like my lowest of like all those
no,
options.
no.
I'm good. I'm good.
I don't even like roller coasters like that. I think I'm just like too much of a control freak. Like I just don't trust it.
I
I don't
will
like
say
it.
I did some roller coasters in May because I was in Florida for a work trip and we went to SeaWorld and they got some good coasters, but there's also this one coaster where the only thing that like kept you in place, like it was like a long uh pole essentially that would like go between your legs and then would like slide down into place like over your stomach. And there was like a stomach thing that like lined up with your stomach basically. But that one was the tallest and the fastest one with the most like shit that it was doing. And right before we got on it, they had technical difficulties for like 30 minutes. I was like, oh, cool.
Nope.
Like the one
And
with
you
the
stayed on it?
sketchiest. Yeah, we still went on it.
Fuck no.
Yeah, right? I was like the
Nope.
one with the sketchiest fucking seat that you can't just like hold
No.
yourself in place. Like there's nothing like if that were to break, like that's the only thing keeping you in place. It's like an entirely wide open seat other than that. So
Yeah, I wouldn't have been
but
on that
yeah,
shit.
speaking of
If they're
fucking
already having
roller
technical
coasters,
difficulties, no. No,
Final
no, no.
Destination 3, man.
Yeah, we
Dude,
watched
it was
that the
funny. There
night
was
before
it was
going
I
to
was with
amusement
another
park.
yeah. 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 I was with another adult and then we had two kids with us. And the two kids at one point they're like, "Yeah, well, at least like no one's like ever died on a roller coaster."
Yeah,
And
okay.
me and Jen just like eyeball each other like, "All right." Like I'm not gonna be the one to tell them.
Did you ever
Like,
look up those
nah,
statistics?
bud. Nah.
Yeah, I did
What's it
once.
like?
I don't remember and I don't want to. I'm glad I don't remember. but I remember it
Yeah.
scaring me a lot. I remember
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
terrified
Yeah. I imagine. Yeah, dude, I fucking
at
bet.
what I saw.
Yeah.
Um,
That shit's more real than we want to admit.
exactly. But they when they come across this dead body, it it was a good fake out because it was moving. So then I'm like, man, like how fucked up is this movie about to be? Is she somehow actually alive? Like there's no way. But it was just a rat moving through her body that came out of her mouth. Uh, which
Hmm.
was a great little sort of jump scare, sort of is she still alive, kind of like fake out moment. Um, oh yeah, this scene right here. After they find that body, the sheriff starts like again just angry, like an angry, just old man for no reason. He was kind of a great portrayal of a cop. But they see the dead body that's all like with the ribs and shit exposed, and he immediately starts painting the picture as if Sarah did that somehow. And he like goes on this whole rant, and he was like, there was like six girls that went down there, and only one of y'all came out covered in her friend's blood. Like, you need to tell me what happened down here. And they're just
Yeah.
like, are you saying that she did that?
I mean,
He just
I kind
starts
of get his
spinning it
logic.
like right away,
Yeah.
like something. Maybe I just watch too much TV and they don't watch TV, but my brain, something did that. Like that's
Yeah.
strange.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how she would. I, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm rewatching part of it and the drill where the dude drills the crawler in the head
Oh yeah, yeah. Um,
and
they kind
then
of did.
fucking falls.
They did Sarah's flashbacks kind of strange during this because I couldn't tell if she was because they were showing vivid flashbacks like while she was closing her eyes. So it seems like she was remembering things, but when she would speak about stuff later, like there's a scene where you notice that she does remember. So I guess the other scenes she was just remembering the feeling, or they were just showing us that something happened there. But
Hmm.
the way they filmed it was weird because it looked like she was having like memory, like flashbacks of what happened to her down there. But and that's pretty much all that keeps happening is just her having flashbacks and um once she actually remembers what happens, you can tell because she opens her eyes and like snaps and she like freaks out. They're like crawling through like the next passageway of the tunnel. They're like crawling on their stomachs and she has a flashback. She sees the creatures in the flashback and she opens her eyes and she freaks out and she kicks the sheriff, I think was behind her. She looks back and kicks him and like crawls out and just beats the shit out of everybody and escapes. So I was like, oh, okay, so now she remembered. So they just kind of filmed the flashbacks in a weird way. Um, because of the whole on the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, so she's remembering right now, and I didn't catch like why she freaked out in there or what caused her to, but I don't know, it was kind of confusing the way that they shot it, but I guess she was just kind of remembering that something bad did happen there. Um,
Yeah.
so after she knocks everybody out unconscious damn near and runs away, um. the sheriff goes after her, so he's lost. And then that leaves just Kath, Dan, and Greg, the search and rescue team there. Uh, what is this? This kind of nitpicky. No, I just wrote that Sheriff Vanes is alone now, and he finds the camera. And this is another complaint I had: the infrared camera shot. Um, Another like example, they were just remaking the first movie kind of frame by frame with with the new cast. Like I said, it's kind of just didn't need to happen. Um, the infrared camera is kind of an easy tell that a jump scare is about to happen, especially if you've
Yeah.
seen the first movie.
Yeah.
I'll give them credit for the way they switched it up though, because I think there was only one time that the creature popped up on camera. Like the first time, excuse me, shit. Like the first time that the sheriff sees one, he's looking at the camera and he pans up, and you kind of think it's going to come through the camera. Well, I was like, I'm waiting, kind of bracing myself so I don't jump because I know like clearly someone's going to come right there. But uh, he's looking through the infrared camera, and the creature pops up on side of the camera, like kind of close to his face. So like they do, they did find like some creative ways to uh to make the obvious jump scares still have some kind of twist on them, but I wasn't crazy about them bringing back the infrared camera because they just use it a few more times throughout the movie, and it doesn't really pay off that well. And also, when they're
Yeah.
using it, it's so bright. And it may just be me, but I felt like it was in a couple of the scenes when they were choosing to use it, it was so bright already, and they had the flashlights on their helmets as well that I didn't see where using the infrared was even necessary outside of telling me a jump scare was about to happen. That's like all it was really good for. Um, oh yeah, the jump scare with the sheriff, whenever the creature pops up on side of him, it scares him because he has his gun out, which, and I didn't say this earlier, but Dan told him not to bring his gun down there because um, he said it's like an equivalent to dynamite down there, firing the gun off. It's just dangerous to have one
Mhm.
down there and they don't need it. And he just like refused to leave it. So going after Sarah, which I thought was weird, I was like, are you just going to shoot her? Because like that's not going to help her remember where everyone is or what happened necessarily. But when that jump scare happens, he falls back and fires his gun off, which triggers this like somewhat of a collapse. Um, so Kath is split up from the rest of the search and rescue team. She's like kind of trapped under like a stack of boulders, and she needs them to kind of find a way around to get on top and wedge them so she can get out. So that's all going on. So Greg and Dan, as they are finding a way, no, they have Rios with them, so I forget about the deputy. So the three of them are kind of finding a way around to try to help out Kath, and they find uh Holly's camera from the first movie, and they're watching like the footage or whatever that Holly has on there, and they see uh the creatures that everyone was seeing. So they see that and they get freaked out. And as soon as they see one on the camera, they see one like in real time and they start to get attacked.
The
So
creatures
like
have good
again,
movie timing.
yeah, it's like the camera, they're like, oh, someone told them the camera, it's our time to shine every single
Yeah.
time. And then that's kind of when it goes to they get where was this? So the creatures attack them in real time and they kind of get separated. And I think Greg is the first. He just like kind of hightails it out of there. Greg runs off and gets lost and everything. Um, then it cuts to uh from Greg being lost, it cuts back to Kath who's stuck in that collapse still. And she has no idea about any of this, which I thought made her scene a bit more scary because she's just kind of trapped and using her flashlight to look around. And at some point she sees one of the creatures or the crawlers or whatever. Again, having no idea, like she wasn't there when everyone else discovered what that was. She just knows that she saw some kind of fucked up looking monster, and that it has like enough human like awareness to know to start digging to get to her. And her whole little escape scene out of there was kind of crazy. She has to drop all of her gear and like kind of get through this hole that she just barely even fits through. I thought she was going to die because the creature does grab her for, and there's a good little struggle right there, but she manages to get out and kick loose the boulders that she was trying to get, that she was needing help getting wedged, and the boulder kind of crashes down and smashes the creature's head right away. Like we talked about, this sequel is
Yeah.
just the first movie again with a bigger budget for gore. Like that's just really, um, that's really it. So she escapes. She
And
manages to
honestly, I
get.
was just thinking about that. I was gonna say that head squish is kind of. What do you think? Did you think it was
I,
solid, good? Because I
I feel
don't
like
I
it could
don't
have.
really
I feel like
know
it.
what I thought
I
about
feel
it.
like it could have been better. And then I'm not really a professional on um pressure and shit like that, or like what the force would do. I just don't know that
Mhm.
it would implode that quickly and squish it because it didn't fall. Not that it wouldn't kill you, like clearly it would, but I don't know that it would have that dramatic of an effect because I don't feel like it fell from very far. Like it was just kind of barely, it just barely
Yeah,
came down. So like it would be
yeah,
stuck and probably over time crush you. But I don't know that it would happen like that. And that's where I was just like they just kind of wanted to show
yeah.
uh that they had the budget for some random gory shit. So after
Fair.
that happens, Kath finds she meets up with Greg and they get to like a dead end sort of passageway where like one of those like the only way out is kind of up ordeals. And they do
Hmm.
the whole Emperor's New Groove sort of linking arms back to back to climb up this wall. And as they kind of like just barely get the nerve to start making the climb. Um, the fucking sheriff starts radioing in, looking for people, and lets the creatures know where they are. So they they get attacked. They have to climb up there, which props to them for finishing the climb like that under pressure too, and like not slipping and shit. That was kind of um an impressive thing to do
Hmm.
under pressure. But they make it out and they come to another dead end where, and like I said, I don't remember who these dead bodies are because so many of them died in the first movie. Um, and it's been a couple weeks since I watched that first one.
Yeah.
But they come to the dead end that they had in the first movie where they had to climb across and use that wedge in the middle and to get to the other side of the that like sort of like the whole like Temple of Doom scenario. Like there was no way to cross it. They had to like climb to like a wedge. They anyway, because of them having to get across there in the first movie, one of the girls died on the cable there. So like there's just a dead body hanging there.
Yeah.
So Kath has to jump onto the dead body and swing the dead body because it's suspended from the cable to get across to the other side. And then another one of those things coming up where they just wanted to show blood and stuff this time, really like um
What
they
when the
just
dead
really wanted to
bodies
sh
leaking blood?
yeah, and the dead body was just like the dead body was just leaking blood all over her face and mouth and stuff, and
Yeah.
I was just like,
Yeah.
all right, so this is
Yeah.
just we're just doing that. There was a lot of that though. There was a lot of like times where they were stabbing the creatures and they were bleeding into their mouths and all over their face, and there were just
Yeah.
a whole lot of that unnecessarily so going on.
Yeah.
Um, but you mentioned this scene earlier, during your rewatch. They get attacked because Kath, who knows they hunt by sound from Wyatt, from when they had to when they had to ditch the radios. She knows that they hunt by sound or whatever. She was making so much fucking noise that they get attacked. Like one literally jumps out onto her while she's swinging from the cable, so she's having to fight that one off. Then another one jumps on Greg's back, bites him in the neck. Where I was thinking he was dead, but um, why I said I like these characters in this movie, knowing he was going to die, he made really, really good use of his time before he died. Like you mentioned earlier, he reached in the tool bag, grabbed out the drill
Yeah.
through the thing's skull like several times, killed it, and then because he was already dying, he jumped onto the cable, grabbed the monster that was attacking Kath, and pretty
Yeah.
much just killed himself by pulling the creature down with him so she could escape. And I was just like, wow. So Kath makes it across, and I was like, okay, cool. So his death isn't going to go to waste because she makes it across. She immediately starts screaming again, like screaming his name, like she didn't just see him die. Um,
Yeah.
and she turns around, and of course, there's a monster behind her,
Right.
and she dies with like a little off-screen death.
Yeah.
And then I think we're getting to where's this scene now? Yeah, we go back, spend a little bit of time with Sarah and Deputy Rios, just a quick enough time for them to kind of bond over because I think they bond over having children because Rios is recording like an I love you message to her daughter in case she dies, and that kind of tugs at Sarah's heartstrings a little bit. And right then I was like, okay, Sarah's not going to make it out of this movie. She's going to do something stupid to make sure that Rios makes it out to her daughter because she lost her daughter.
Yeah.
Um, So that was kind of a dead giveaway right there. They just zoomed in on Sarah's face for way too long for me. So I was like, okay, she's gonna die for sure.
Yeah.
Um, so then
Also,
they end up,
I I have that scene on in the background right now. Um, just also think of the difference in cell phones from
oh yeah,
2008,
yeah.
2009. Like, holy shit. Like,
That thing just looked like cancer. Like
yeah.
that was a lot of phone.
Yeah.
Uh, so they get attacked shortly after this little moment they have. Oh no, I got ahead of myself. We go back to Baines, and he has his first encounter with one of the creatures, and he almost dies. And kind of a cool scene. We see the end of a pickaxe going through the creature's, well, coming out of the creature's mouth from the back of his skull. And we look up, and it's like this crazy, like wild Tarzan looking Juno that saves him even though we know she's alive already from the poster. But we finally get
Yeah.
the reveal of her. We go back to Sarah and Rios, and they're crawling through another passageway in the cave where Sarah shines her light through the end of the cave, and she sees one of the creatures there. So she's like just being still, waiting for it to pass and go away. But a rat crawls up out of a hole uh, that's in between the two of them, and the rat decides to crawl towards them. Sarah holds it together and it passes. But I don't know if Rios didn't see it or if Rios didn't see the creature to be aware of what was going on. But when Rios sees the rat, she freaks out, and obviously the creature hears them, so they have to race towards the center, and they jump down the hole that the rat came out of, and they fall into like this weird liquid that they were all covered in. I think it's the same liquid that was covered in the first movie. Um, which during our review of the first movie, there's something I said I would get back to when we watched the second one. that will make things in the first movie be even more gross, but we'll get there in a second. But um, the creature jumps down the hole after them. They kill it. They take a moment to kind of get themselves together. A second creature pops up from underneath the pool of whatever, and they kill that one. Uh, and then they're kind of like they take a minute to look around at what they're standing in and kind of wondering what it is. And then we see a third creature appear at the top and thinking it's going to attack them, but it makes a weird noise, turns around, and takes a shit. And they they realize that's what's been in like this murky water they keep finding themselves in. And I want to
Oh,
say that
geez, man.
yeah, and I want to say in the first movie when Sarah pops up out of the water and you see it all covered on her face and you can't tell if it's blood or what it is, I want to say it was the same shit. Like they're just like different waves of it. Where they go. But yeah, so then that happens. That was fucking gross. So that was that was my note that I was going to come back to from the first movie just about that. Um, after that, they what is this called back to the first movie? Oh yeah, I just talked about the call back to the first movie because that makes that scene even more gross now that Sarah was just like swimming around in that shit, literally. This is the scene where they survive that. Sarah comes clean with Rios about Juno and what happened with her and her husband and how she left her here to die so that she could escape. Shortly after that, they run into Juno and the sheriff. The sheriff, I mean, not the sheriff. Juno and Sarah kind of have a little fight or whatever. But they end up ultimately working together to escape. Um, it's just a bunch of drama and bad dialogue from here on out, getting them to go work together as a team, even though they were all just trying to kill each other. And let me make sure I'm not missing anything here.
Also, this is a
Oh yeah,
remarkably well lit movie for being in the middle of a dark cave. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. And if it had been darker, maybe some of the infrared shit would have made more sense. But that is a great point. Like you can see a lot
Everything.
in this movie. And I was about to skip right over this, so I'm glad I looked at my notes. Shortly after that, after the fight between Juno and Sarah, uh, the sheriff takes it upon himself to handcuff himself to Sarah so that she doesn't get away again, which is stupid because they keep having to crawl through shit and everything. So that was just kind of a
Yeah,
dumb idea.
yeah,
Uh, Again, just that angry character that doesn't think, who is just always having to do something stupid for no reason.
yeah. Yep.
Is it all right? Oh yeah, I wrote that he regretted it instantly. Oh yeah, because right after he handcuffs himself to her, and they're walking around for maybe 5 minutes, they come to a gap. They have to sort of like it looks like they could jump across it, but there's just enough rock in between that they can maneuver across. And then Sarah tells the sheriff, "Hey, like this is a lot easier and safer if we do this shit one at a time." Where he gives some like basic angry response, and they stay handcuffed, and he falls, of course.
Yeah.
So him screaming alerts more of the creatures, so they start kind of crawling up the wall towards them to which Juno tells Rios, she just says, cut it. And I'm already knowing what she means, but Rios is kind of lost and like she won't say it out loud. I'm assuming to keep the sheriff calm, but she just says you need to cut it right now. And Rios reads the room well. She takes the pickaxe out and cuts she attempts to cut the sheriff's hand off,
And yeah.
which was I mean like they I feel like there were other options maybe or a better way to go about that, but she kind of just drove the pickaxe directly into the middle of the hand and was just like twisting it and ripping it around. I was like,
Yeah.
it was just that was a brutal, unnecessary scene. Like I said, I think they were just trying to show off gore and like practical effects or whatever the case may be, but that was brutal. Like there had to have been a better way to go about that without traumatizing everybody having to see that. And even then they just barely get away. Um,
Yeah.
we're pretty much to the end of the movie now where Juno says, yeah, it's Juno, I believe. She says, I know where they feed like that or where they go up to feed, so we need to go that direction because clearly there's an exit way up to the top if they're bringing food in. Uh,
Correct.
which sounds like a stupid idea, but there's literally no other way out, and
Yeah.
they're going to keep getting attacked anyway.
Yeah.
So it was like a last ditch effort. So it made sense to me. But
Yeah.
as they are attempting to make the escape, uh, they come across this last corner, and like there's like probably like 6 to 8 of the little creatures in there. One of them is actively pulling a deer down from like above ground and like going ahead and eating it and whatever. Um, Dan from earlier, I guess I skimmed over his death, but Dan, he's the first one to die. He gets bit in the neck. I guess I didn't see that. I kind of skipped right over it. He gets bit in the neck and
Oh, the
he
guy
gets
that when Homegirl and Rios are like hiding.
Yeah, damn, I skipped over that whole section. But that was we could talk about it for a minute. That was a great section to me because it showed um Sarah snapped right back into that like Daredevil, like Rambo sort of mode.
Yeah.
Um and even just the coldness of keeping Rios quiet while they watched Dan get killed because to survive that, one of them was going to have to die and escape. Like it was just that was actually a really cool scene. It's kind of it sucks I skipped over that, but we see Dan down in there in their little feeding layer or whatever, and he's still alive, and he reaches out and grabs Juno, who freaks out, and they get attacked. And I wanted to note this too. I felt like these things were so much harder to kill this movie. Yeah, I feel like in the first movie when they were just discovering what they were and they were just like traumatized and enraged, they were just like they were getting these things out of here like quick. But this one I feel like there were so many stabs and uh so many like bashes to the head. And like we said earlier with that boulder crushing that one thing's head so instantly, the number
Mhm.
of times one of these things, the number of times they beat this thing in the head with the rock, and it's still alive and fighting back, I was just like that kind of doesn't make sense. Like they just seemed impossible to kill. But they just
Yeah.
needed to show us that Sarah still somewhat cared about Juno because as her and as Sarah and Rios are making their escape, they notice that one of them uh has grabbed Juno and Sarah runs back and as she's pulling one off of her, it like grabs into her ribs and like rips a bunch of skin off and whatnot and kills her. Um and Sarah like completely forgets that she hates her. She gives her the necklace that they found that her husband gave her. She like puts it in her hand and covers her eyes and shit. And her and Rios make their way to the top to escape, but they hit the corner and there's another like 8 creatures just waiting for them, just sitting there. And as they're closing in on Rios, like we mentioned earlier, that we knew she was going to do already, Sarah screams like it's almost like the end of A Quiet Place. How he just like
Mhm.
makes a bunch of noise so the things will swarm him. It's like the
Hmm.
exact same ending. She does that. She screams real loud. So they leave uh, Rios alone. They run right to Sarah, kill her off screen, and Rios escapes with the whole hand breaking through. Like the exact ending to the first movie. And she makes it out and she pulls her phone out to call her daughter. She turns around and she gets hit in the face with a shovel. And he was holding the shovel. The old guy who found Sarah in the very beginning of the movie. So like this was a stupid ending. This is one where the ending just I didn't get it. Like I didn't understand if he was let me backtrack a little bit. She gets hit in the face with the shovel by the old man from the beginning of the movie. He drags her body to the hole that she just crawled out of and dumps her back down in there, like to show that he's working with or feeding these things, or he's aware of them.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand, like, if that was the case in the first movie, why didn't he do this in the beginning of the movie? Why didn't he do the same thing? Why didn't he just bring Sarah back and throw her down there? Why did he take her to the hospital and call and get her help, and then
Oh,
help
they
the
for sure
sheriffs
just
find the mine? And like,
they
they
for
just didn't
sure
think about that.
decided in between the movies what to do. Definitely did not have it planned out, without a doubt.
Yeah, because it just ends with him throwing her down there, and it's just like, so was there a plan for a Descent 3 where they go get a third girl from with the new team, or was it going to be some kind of like not Hills Have Eyes, but like Wrong Turn scenario? Like I that was just a dumb way to end it. If he was aware and like feeding these things the whole time, like I just didn't get I didn't get it. But
Yeah.
it wasn't a terrible movie. It just didn't really need to happen. And the plot holes in the movie show that it didn't need to happen. But like it was okay though. It wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen. Uh the first one was definitely better. I just don't think it needed to happen necessarily. Look in the
I
speed up.
think so. I was looking at the money, and it was like 3.5 million for the first one, and it made just under 60 million, and then they
Oh
made
wow.
7 million with the second one. So 100%. They're like, oh wow, we had a hit on our hands. Because like also remember this is like 2005. Like to make 60 million is like a pretty
Yeah,
significant
yeah,
amount of money. So like
that's a
they
good
they
point too.
100% were just like yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the thing though, is like kind of with Don't Breathe too. Like even though I liked Don't Breathe too, it was one of those things where if you have that big of a success with the first movie, um, it kind of proves that your original idea works and that you should make another like original movie instead of remaking your first movie like scene for scene almost, just with the new cast.
Yeah, I mean, I both get what you're saying, but I also get them just doing a repeat, knowing that that's more than likely going to be more financially successful, like a guaranteed
Yeah.
X
And
million
don't
of
get
dollars.
Yeah, yeah. And when you look at it that way, like, because like, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I liked. It's kind of a bad example because I actually liked Don't Breathe too. Um, I think their issue with that movie is they didn't expect it to be so uh to do as well as it did, so they had to find a way to make they accidentally made the villain like a badass. So they just kind of had to find a way to make him a protagonist in a way, in a sequel by having him kill somebody worse than him. But I feel like it would have been fine if they had made a sequel though. It would have been a good standalone movie.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like subterranean movies are such a specific thing that it's like I'm trying to think of movies that take place underground, like The Descent, As Above, So Below, a big part of the Goonies. Like,
Yeah, there's this one called I think it's called the Pyramid. Um,
oh, okay. Is that underneath the pyramids?
yeah, they it has
Fuck
to
yeah.
do with with Anubis. It's it's like as above, so below in Egypt, essentially.
Yeah.
But it has to do with Anubis and trying to find like passageways to the afterlife, and just like in As Above, So Below, they were finding that stone or whatever. It's kind of like the same thing.
Yeah.
But I watched that randomly on HBO a few years ago. It was like I threw it on like for background noise to fold laundry to or some shit like that. But it ended up being like a really good movie though. I think it's called The Pyramid.
Okay. Also, I will say I liked it a lot when Juno showed up and like she had the pickaxe and she was like stabbing the thing and saving the dude. I liked it when the dude just straight up punched the creature.
Yeah, so like that was
just,
another thing too
just fucking
that
punches it.
reminded me of As Above, So Below as well because of the scene where I forget the main character's name, but when she starts to remember the patterns and starts running through forget what it is, but like you remember whenever she grabs a stone and everything is reversed and she has to run back through and put it back and all this shit. There's a scene where there's keeps being like this ghost thing or this mummy kind of walking around in a different spot. And when she finally like uh runs through it so many times, there's a scene where she comes by and just punches the shit out of it. You got a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
crowd reaction at the theaters too. Um, we should do that one next. I know we were just talking about Jeepers Creepers, but we should, since we've been doing these, we just did these two other movies about caves. We should do As Above, So Below next, and then Jeepers Creepers. But also have a I got a list I'll text you actually. We'll talk about some shit, some ideas I have. But
Okay.
um I think I'm gonna call it on that one and go get dinner. And yeah, I will try to watch As Above, So Below tomorrow or something. And I'll just kind of text you when I get done with it
For sure. I might
so we can
honestly,
set up the next one.
I might throw that on right now. That's on HBO, right?
I don't think it is right now. Like I would
Sure. Okay.
so I'm gonna watch it tomorrow when I get paid. So I'm just gonna get it on Fandango. It's one of those ones I'm kind of surprised I don't have on there because I do watch it somewhat regularly. But yeah,
Right.
I'm just gonna pay for it tomorrow and just watch it, and then I'll let you know when I'm free again to record.
Okay, cool. Um, yeah, I honestly, As Above, So Below, it's kind of been a minute since I've seen it.
It's a
Like
good one.
I usually watch a little bit more often, so good timing to
Yeah,
watch that again.
it's been a while since my last watch. It's probably been about 2 or 3 years since my last time watching it, but
Hmm.
um it always holds up every time I watch it. And I always see something different too. But um all right, man. I'll text you at some point tomorrow.
All right, for sure. Sounds good.
All right, man. Later.
All right, see ya.